anybody but me. That's what I'm saying. My man went on
Is it real life? What I do is a real life truck.
No, but you love to trigger me. That's the whole game, is to trigger me.
No, it's not.
And you're not.
We were just trying to ask you a question.
Can I just get my thought out like normal people do and then ask a question?
Alright, land in 30 seconds. Land in 30 seconds.
No, you're not going to tell me 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Well, in 30 seconds, you'll be muted. Go ahead.
I don't understand why people can't engage with you, brother. We understand you don't know who you're talking to. So we understand what it is that you're saying. And, for a good portion of that, we agree with what you're talking about. We're just trying to ask you questions like, people do during dialogues. So that's all we're trying to do is ask you questions.
I'm receptive to questions being asked, but I gotta finish my thought. I don't know.
What I'm saying is that this is not a monologue. That doesn't mean that we're trying to derail your thought. There are people on stage who are...
What's the question? What's the question?
Check this out. You're not going to talk the whole damn day. That's it. You've been having this long ass dialogue, like it's like.
So I got on here 15 minutes talk. We got it interrupted. See what I'm saying? The hypocrisy in that.
3-4 days ago, I told that this room is MAGA and they are supported Trump. And they come in like you.
Stop. Like it's Trump and Quinn right now. Trump and Quinn.
I'll just ask you, in all your submission, what do you think is a solution? How do you think we should approach that?
The solution would be if the American people realize what's getting played and understand your real power. Your only real power is your money and where you spend it at and where you patronize it at. And what's going on right now is these companies and corporations, no matter how much AI you do, no matter how much robotic plans you have to take away jobs, you still have to have consumers to keep the product going. You still have to have people purchase. So people realize my power is in who I give my money to. Meaning, like when you looked at Target, for an example, and I ain't trying to make this a race thing at all, but I'm just saying, when they decided with the DEI initiative to do what they did, and then the customers said, we're going to stop going in there that were black, mainly black patrons, that we're not going in there, Target's bottom line fell to hell, which means there is power in the money. So now you got Target trying to get K. Sanada, I don't know how to say his name, as a spokesman to try to win black people back. End of the day is this, and this ain't exclusive to just black people, it's anyone. Where you spend your dollars at determines how people are going to treat you. If you cut them off, if you stop patronizing these companies, corporations, whether it be Amazon, whether it be Walmart, but most people are so used to the convenience of what Amazon is doing as far as their packages coming, that they don't care that there's robots taking people's jobs. They don't care about that. They just want that package on their porch. But when there's no money for people to buy those packages on the porch, the corporations suffer. So I'm saying that to say this. If people banded together against this whole Democrat-Republican format that is fucking us all on both sides, I don't care if it's Joe Biden, I don't care if it's Trump, I don't care if it's both sides of the aisle in the Congress, they're not for the people, but the people make this shit go round. We the people, that's the first 3 words of the shit. We the people. We control this shit. But somehow we've made government seem like a robot. This is people. We the people control that shit, or should, but we've become sheep because we're so focused on all of the fucking side shows. All of the side shows got to distract from the main event. So one, you got to band together. One, you got to understand there has to be a new system put in place somehow. The current one isn't working anymore. Democracy is done. That shit's out the window. That shit is out the window. So now, as a people, what do you want? Do you want to be controlled by a tyranny society? What is it that you want as a people? We got to come to some kind of an agreement. Because right now we're distracted by all the wrong shit. We keep getting played by both sides.
I can't hear him anymore. He gave up.
I think he was having some technical problems.
Money and where you spend it at and where you pay.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I don't really know what to fucking say to that.
I do. I'll answer one thing. As a Palestinian that just got back from Palestine 10 months ago, I haven't been in the US for 10 years. We just stepped into a fascist state, and we just failed ourselves with this recent election because people didn't know what to do or who to choose. And it's up to America and the people of America to see what's really there, you know, and to know who they're voting for, because people all over the world are oppressed based off of the decisions that happen here on the floor. And here in America, it's so easy to be censored, banned, shadow banned, to be like, oh, that's not my responsibility. It's like all a distraction to say, hey, you're not responsible for this, but really, we just need to educate ourselves, because we just stepped into a fascist state. Everyone is at fucking stake right now. Every community, everyone is being attacked. Everyone is like being oppressed. Everyone needs to like step up. And there's just what the message with Ta-Nehisi. He's a black African. He's a black American who speaks to the black community, and to say, guys, we can't fail ourselves again. We can't let the system freaking like do what they've been doing. And so like we're actually shattering this by the truth that we talk about every single day. Don't sleep on this.
And what was Ta-Nehisi? What was this in context? What was this in reference to?
Saying that he's visited Palestine. He talks about the Jewish voice. He talks about the black African community, the black American and African community. He talks about like how we're supposed to connect to who we really are, our culture, not have this American system say that we're, I don't even know what I'm saying, I'm losing words right now, but like, as someone who just left and came back, it is so sad to come see like how people are communicating and trying to understand what's happening, because if there's so much censorship and shadow ban and it's like distractions like Love Island and like all these like entertainment or sexual chaos and lust for people to just minimize what's happening. But in reality, we're in shit. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, you're right. It's just distractions. And if you notice, whenever there's anything major happening, there's a distraction to take your mind off what is going on. Even when it comes to bills being passed that are overshadowed by Diddy trials and Epstein shit. You know what I mean? Things that affect everyone. That half of the people that are so-called leaders of us in the Congress didn't even read the fucking bill at all.
Hold on, wait, one second. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to say that I am not another rioter in the making. This is a person who speaks truth. I came back as I'm an American citizen, and as of now, I have to think about my mental health. Like, I have the opportunity to be here. Who's this MC with the American flag? Like, the fact that you're still waving an American flag is actually quite concerning, to be honest.
Ma'am, just focus on you, whatever you want to say. Don't pay attention to people in the chat.
Yeah, okay.
I will say though, the American flag is supposed to represent us all though. As much as it's fucked up, it is our America. I know I got family that died for this shit. My father was in the military. You know what I mean? I got a lot of military family. I never say fuck America, none of that shit. Because this is where I've always lived. This is where I grew up at, my family grew. Of course I'm a ride for America. But what's going on right now is we're being played by corporations and companies. We got, I forget how many, we got Bezos, we got Buffett, you know, we got Bill Gates, we got Zuckerberg, we got a handful of the
Rothschilds.
We've got these people controlling the whole world. That 1%, I believe it might be 12 or 13 of them that make more than the whole rest of the United States combined. That is a problem. But at the end of the day, the whole trick is to make you feel like what you say has no power, to make you feel powerless. So we can do anything to you and you have no fight in you. You have nothing in you. We're going to just do whatever to you and there's nothing you can do to stop it. That's what American people have to stand up, which I don't personally see happening. I see people who go out and protest and do that shit, but right now they're even trying to make that illegal to the point where they can militarize you and lock you up for that and do whatever to you. So the freedom of speech, hold on, last thing I'm going to say is this. Like she said a minute ago, you're being shadow banned, you're being censored, you're being dropped to the goo when people got different opinions. You got people right now who can't even dialogue because they're so stuck in their own ideology. I don't have an ideology on a political party other than both of them are full of shit. Has been forever. And I'm not going to single Trump out because the elections have always been full of shit. We can see that when we watched George W. Bush win, and there was votes floating in the river when he was going against Al Gore. All of this shit is a big ass play. But who can we put in right now to implement what we want done? Don't think that there are Democratic people right now who support what Trump is doing. There are Democrats out there in the Congress right now who know exactly what he's doing and are benefiting from it.
So let me say this, brother. So I'm just saying this as a precursor. I know that a lot of the people on the stage haven't been talking, and that's kind of been, very honestly, because you've kind of been sucking up a lot of the air. But there's a lot of people.
You know to tell me what I'm doing.
So I'm saying this. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying.
But you are, you bitch ass nigga. You are insulting. Then you wonder why I scream on.
So what I'm
Then
saying.
you wonder why I scream on your faggot ass.
Okay, that's fine. So what I'm saying, brother.
You can't speak like that. For people to hear
anybody.
It's freedom of speech. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say.
That's cool.
I can call him a bitch ass nigga because I get free.
Nobody wants to hear all that.
But I did.
You know what?
So that's the power of not coming up. Fuck him. If you got a problem with it.
We can politely
And I can closely say fuck you. That's that. You ain't gonna let it.
Truck, you know me, bro. Hold it for 1 second, y'all. Truck, how long you know me, bro?
Yeah, he's gone.
Do me a favor. Like I could have talked that down. You know me before.
Nah, but listen, honestly though, that's not even the point.
You can bring him up and talk to him, but I'm gonna tell you, he keep calling men bitch ass niggas.
That's not the space, man. He actually is intelligent, dude. I guess he just get worked up.
Well, no, what it is that if I would have got a chance to finish, and I don't give a fuck about motherfuckers calling you bitch ass nigga. Like, I don't even know this cat. So, but what I was trying to tell him is that the people on the stage are very intelligent. There's a collective of intelligent people here. There's no reason for him to rehash the position and the status of the United States of America.
There's no
if he
reason
would just
for
simply
you to
pay
edit what I'm
attention.
saying, bro.
And I said that the people on the stage hadn't been talking, so he doesn't really understand that. But if he knows who these people are, we could move on to a different segment of the conversation.
Who are you to edit the conversation how you want?
I'm not
You
going
trying
to
to edit it how you want it,
I'm
bro.
not trying to edit it, my brother. But I'm
Yes,
telling
you are,
you
bro.
that you are. Hey, no, I don't need no help. So in just a second. Because he has to learn how to participate.
I don't have to learn shit, bitch ass nigga. That's the
So but the
difference.
bottom line is,
I don't have to
if
learn
we're going to
shit.
participate in
I don't have to learn shit from
everybody
you,
is,
cocksucker.
like we really gotta.
I don't have to learn shit from you, cocksucker.
You don't. You
You nobody. Who in the fuck are you?
This is true. Nobody at all. So
You're nobody.
I'm saying that
You have no fucking power
what
over
it
your
is, we're having a conversation. Go ahead.
Hey, Truck, did you change your name recently?
Yeah, I changed my name. It's too many people on here trolling and shit. Yeah, I changed
Yeah. I thought you changed your name. 'Cause I recognize you guys. Look, can you do me a favor, Brody? We don't know each other for a minute, man. Like, this stage is different than a lot of the stages where they troll and shit. Like, we really try to have an educational conversation, and we attack the points, not the people, man. Can you do me that favor?
I've been doing that favor. I keep getting them interrupted by that cocksucker. That's why I'm angry right now. Because that cocksucker cuts me off every time I talk, bro. He does that shit.
So what's been happening is he has an
I respect you, Gemini. I respect you, Gemini. I respect you, Gemini, as an intelligent dude.
And what he doesn't realize is that the people on the stage
I realize
the things that
everything.
he's talking about, and we're trying to ask him questions.
I don't even want to talk to you.
Advance the
Let's
conversation.
do it just way. I respect you too, man. If you can do me the favor of just don't even focus on him, contribute your point, and we'll hear it out.
Bro, I've been making my point, and he get around.
Gemini, hold on, dog.
And the Queen, Gemini, Trump has given his submissions. He doesn't stop to allow a dialogue.
Y'all interrupt me on purpose because you don't agree. You don't agree, so you interrupt me. That's what these dudes do.
You don't know if they
you have a
agree or
different
not
opinion than
because
you interrupt me.
enough to hear somebody.
That's what you
He
do.
doesn't stop long enough to keep
No,
it
because
talking.
Trump
Which is why
supporters
he
interrupt me.
probably end up in the
Y'all
audience.
got it. Fuck y'all. Y'all got it. Fuck
Came
y'all.
off the stage.
Well, he's just too
Thank you.
emotionally
Have a
strong.
great Sunday. We have this is a great time to plug the
Eat a dick, bitch.
next session coming up. We have a Black Men Speak session coming up soon, where they're going to be talking about
I removed them myself. I removed them. It is what it is.
The question is it at y'all house today?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So we're gonna share y'all house at the top.
I removed him because he called her a bitch. Like, we can't do that. Like, I don't care how upset you feel.
But here's the thing, though, Gemini. And I invite you to do this too. When you coming in, like like Deborah said, he wouldn't stop talking. What we were trying to do is engage him in conversation. So whatever he was trying to do, he was the cause of the dissension. So we were trying to at least engage him to reel him in, but he has no emotional intelligence whatsoever. He just keeps talking. He keeps talking. He considers people trying to engage him as being disruptive.
And through all of the disrespect, no one ever cursed him
At all.
I was going to try to see if I could get back to it.
We usually jump back. Nobody even jumped back on it.
I was going to try to get it to a normal dialogue because I know, like, he does have a lot to contribute, but the way it was going right now, that wasn't about the, I can't tolerate disrespect just because that's a friend. Like, I can't do that,
The link is at the top, y'all. Join the club so you can get notifications when they have their room.
Can I just say to Hulki that he talk about the Palestinian girls that she come to claim the situation in Palestine?
He take her piece on the shop. Man, all what is Israel is doing, the genocide there, they use American power and American taxpayer to doing this fucking genocide. Online, live, for all of us. And if someone from there come to speak about and tell us about it, and he talk about she left her problem and she come to fix a problem in United States, because the United States government that they are corrupted, that they are blackmailed with Epstein and all the shit and Pizzagate, all the shit is fucked up all our life, because after Second World War, a new world order, it's been imposed. It was America is an empire, and all the country follow same order. So what we're living now, it's a mess. That the CIA and all the shit happened after Second World War. So don't take a piece of people if they come in to complain about the foreign policy, American foreign policy, that it's been corrupted in some kind of how with Epstein and blackmailing the political people and people in power. Thank you. I'm landing.
And that's the problem with I don't mean to rehash this, but that's the problem because it's relevant to what we're talking about right now. But that's what it disrupts good conversation and then focus and then redirects the focus. And now nobody even knows what to talk about because it disrupts the good conversation and derails it derails a good conversation and focuses on a person, centers a person.
Yes, I believe you're right. But on the string, I promised I would return with some stats on the inflation. And the best inflation barometer I found, I got from my parents. I'm 72 years old, and I got from my parents the barometer to use on the economy and inflation is the grocery counter, what you pay at the grocery, and what you pay at the gas and diesel pumps. I did put an article in the chat that talk to Steve. It's like you have the encyclopedia, and they have all type of pedias, and this the investmentpedia is a fairly good source. I've used this source at least it's only been out a short while from the social media to complement the encyclopedia, etc. But the idea is that I think it's off the chart because when the gas price shifts, it's a sign of inflation. That you see gas prices right now are slightly going upwardly. Before, I think Barack Hussein Obama had maintained the gas prices about $2.50. Trump maintained at about 252, and then when it leans up to 3, the inflationary price is reflected in the gasoline, because you have to transport. See, I've been a longshoreman. You can bring me all the food that you got, but if I don't move that shit as a longshoreman, and if I can't get the teamsters to pick it up in the trucks and the trains, then you're done. You just got wet lettuce, wet, rotten lettuce, if you can understand the symbolism. So there you have it. It's just real talk for real people. We approached the whole Biden administration to find a ceiling price on fossil fuels. We saw it getting a little bit out of hand with Joe Biden and them. The other thing is that you go back to Carter Day and all that, there was $4, $5, and $6 gas. If you go as far as Los Angeles, you find the gas price. And they had no control of the economy because it didn't influence the ceiling price on the fossil fuel. You have to ship that food by diesel. Clothing, automobiles have to be shipped by diesel prices. You got to face those facts so you can see the reality. So it has moved upwardly. So there is a danger of inflation. When it threatens the market, it moves the gas price. And your grocer, then the food is reflective of what you pay the grocer is reflected in the diesel fuel price. And what it takes to move that train, to take those containers with your broccoli and your asparagus and etc. in it, to get that to the grocer is the battle. And Trump has been bad for the economy this time around. He was better. Trump 1 was fairly okay on the economy. Trump 2 is a nightmare. And don't forget your footnotes, beloved brothers and sisters, the political chat room. Please don't forget the fact that he is the one that delivered the COVID to your door. It had to be, there was no inertia, no automatic pilot on the COVID. It had to be delivered in order for us to get that in. And for the melanated people had numbers, they say 50,000, body made 50,000 of our people on record as being killed by the COVID in record time. And I said if it was record time, then we were the target all the time. And I land my plane on Job Corps and these museums and the other dirt that he's done to address the title in the room. It is his return to so-called Jim Crow. But the first Jim Crow was done by his predecessor, Andrew Johnson, who was again the he vetoed all the policies that were going to make progress for the black melanated people. So I land my plane on these facts, and we don't want that form of apartheid, whether it comes from Elon Musk or Donald Trump. They're both whistleblowers, and they should be managed as such.
Ball turns into a soggy rat the second it touches water.
Can we get a room reset?
It's actually
Like, I mean, like in the words of motherfuckers.
That what I want, man, keep going.
No, sir. Please. We appreciate your contribution, brother. I just was simply asking for a room reset, that's all.
So we're talking about making America great again. Shout out to Jim Crow. So like with these bills, these executive orders, what's going on with deportation? Yeah, and it's only been, 6 months? Life is great. Let me go ahead and look up an article real quick, and maybe we can have a conversation on that.
Well, Betty, basically we have a basic problem here. I place in a chat the link of very, very great book. I hope that all of you going to have a look at this book. Its name is Legal Action.
F-words don't vote.
It is mentally picked up.
F-words don't vote. They just wingmen. These rainbow efforts don't vote. They just wingmen.
I know he's supposed to be meeting with the NATO Secretary General. I'm trying to see if I can find anything right now.
So, good afternoon, good morning. It's been extremely entertaining these last couple of days. I've been on the floor laughing. These people are entertaining.
You're just as
Oh, man.
Sorry.
I do crazy.
Just so you know.
In situations, I get cursed. Y'all showed him more grace than y'all showed me. Y'all cursed me out in 30 seconds. What's going on with that? But I'm gonna say this. Trump is about to make a major announcement tomorrow about the Russia situation. I think it's pretty bad. But,
yeah, it is.
All of it is interconnected. All of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think
we're facing world-changing order. In case you guys, so this whole war in UK, Russia, Palestine, whatever, everything that's happening, it's world-changing order. So like the U.S. reserve currency the reserve currency has been the U.S. for so fucking long, and as of now, like the elections that we had faced and everything, actually Trump was supposed to be out of chair, but the only thing that saved him was this crypto techno world. So that's why Elon Musk is in there. So actually, it's like this economic war between who's the strongest and who's better, China or the U.S. And in between is all of like these wars that they profit off of. So they're profiting off of the war in Gaza. They're profiting off of the war in Ukraine. The U.S. is gaining money that way. They're profiting off of the protests. It's like these things are done intentionally for us to face the chaos, and it's a rise of divide and conquer between the Arabs and the Muslims. I mean, the Jews and the Arabs. It's a rise in between the black and the white. It's a rise between the Hispanic and whatever. It's like they're creating more racism between us. So this fight that he said he was laughing on the floor, of course it's fine, because like we're all fools because we're giving them the power by acting like this. Like the power is within us and how much you educate yourself. So like, I'm just trying to find a group where people know things. Anyways, that's what I have to say.
Great. But I just think people are worried about, the biggest issue right now is for me is trying to calm down the situation between the United States and Russia right now. And with the uptick of Russia going all in Ukraine the last 4 or 5 days, and this major announcement tomorrow, we know that, here's the thing, in my mind, Trump said he's going to make peace with Putin and Iran, and he's free, whatever, that's great. But, here's the bad side. When you got like Putin is Putin, and you got somebody like Trump, who's like an egotistical maniac, whatever, how he is sometimes. If they kind of bump heads and get into like a real, spat in the feud, it's not going to be good. So, I'm very interested in what's going to happen tomorrow. And unfortunately, like this too, older men are the most dangerous men on earth. They don't have a lot to live for, and when you have world leaders like Trump, so he's knocking at the door, and Putin is knocking at the door, Biden too, the Chinese guy too, unfortunately, human history has a history, right, of wars, and that's just the humans.
Do you think that Trump wants a weaker dollar so there's been talks about that to boost exports? Like, I don't know if he's doing this purposely. But he is weakening the dollar.
I think it's definitely.
Well, it goes to BRICS. BRICS started 3.5 years ago, something like that. When the war really started, Russia, Iran, Brazil, South Africa. That was a big push of gaining momentum to not use the American dollar.
Yeah, but some of those people were warring with each other and they don't agree with each other ideologically, so they don't pose any real threat to America. So that's not a good point.
Brother, you have Tanzania and Namibia and Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, all these countries that I nominated, all of them, they stop the using of dollar. If you want to buy something, you want to sell something, you have to use same currency. Okay?
He's right.
Ash, the biggest one was the Patriot.
Yeah, but ain't nobody trust BRICS. Like, y'all act like the Chinese yuan is freely convertible. That shit is crazy. Y'all going too far now.
The tariff change and everything, like why we're facing increase in goods, gas, inflation. It's like impossible to live alone here. They have to have like 5 people living in one house. That is because the whole world is changing their ties and relationship with the United States as they are uncovering the system, the oppressive system that they do. Like they're profiting off of like people who live in America.
Yeah, but
so
dominance is still going to be deeply entrenched.
China and Russia has been changed, so like the trade, the imports, they're not using U.S. currency. They're using like another currency, so that's hurting America. That's hurting us. That's hurting.
Currency?
Huh?
Who's using another currency? Russia wouldn't be using our currency, right? Because of all the sanctions.
In trades, they do, yes. But as of not,
I got it in trade, but that's because we got it when it comes to trade. I'm talking about like, if you even think BRICS is a thing, then y'all are fucking mistaken.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest. But I know that's not that.
That's the point, man. You should listen. They've been trying to tell you. So when BRICS formed, the biggest impact that BRICS had in influence is Saudi Arabia. I'm not the best person to explain how important the petrodollar is. Man, wait till I finish.
I'm just saying.
Wait till I finish. So the dropping.
I don't need to know what a BRICS is. Any new system, the whole system of Saudi Arabia is a Wahhabism. It's not an Islamic country. They're the ally. Everything is interconnected. So, like, what are you trying to say that the whole BRICS was what's your intent?
Okay, stop. First of all, nothing's gonna happen to the dollar right now. It is weakening, but like,
there is no value. There's no gold.
Okay, so regardless of the fact, like commodities are priced in what? U.S. dollars. So trading's gonna be in dollars. Until that changes, right now it's U.S. dollar.
It's actually just cryptocurrency. They're doing it through digital. They're making you say that. Actually, so don't like you can.
Patty, what's going on, Patty? What is happening on this stage right now?
I don't know. I'm just communicating with you guys, but then someone brought in Saudi Arabia for something about BRICS, and I wasn't.
Sunday morning. There ain't no need for getting loud, Lord.
Habibi, I'm not loud.
You're loud.
But also,
this is all a deflection to an intelligent conversation because you guys are incapable of having one.
You're right.
okay.
Sorry.
We are.
But listen.
We are.
I'm gonna stop talking, but I was listening in.
Right.
I've never.
Hey, you're right. I agree with you. What's your name? I'm Eldad.
I'm not just this white person. You can just say I agree with you. Just a white.
No. We're all being honest. Being honest. We're not capable of having an intelligent conversation with you.
And then when I
No, well, I was saying,
I love this one.
when I mentioned I didn't know about BRICS or something, I said that's kind of irrelevant because this system, and someone was like, well, that's what you're not listening. So I'm just over-explaining myself, but yeah, okay, I'll stop.
Well, then your takes also have the responsibility of being sensible, and they are not, because you don't understand them in context. So what you may be saying flatly is correct in some way, but contextually it is not. Which shows that you really don't understand the fullness of what you're talking about.
No, I just don't have the right term.
Well, because you don't understand. When you understand, you can explain it fluently. You don't understand what you're talking about.
So you guys are comfortable attacking anybody?
It's not an attack, dear. It's an observation. I don't know why you all assume that people are attacking you because they're correcting you. You don't understand what you are talking about in context. Is that more plain?
I'm sorry, you're
It's
here.
not shouldn't be offensive to you. What you should do is use that as an opportunity to, I don't know, maybe go find out what the fuck you're talking about so that you can come back and explain it fluently. Please do not get caught up in my frustration. You have earned this. So because you keep telling us that we don't understand, it is clear that you are the person who does not understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so now we're just pointing fingers. I have bricks written right here. I'm looking it up right now. Like, I don't have a problem with learning.
Then don't present yourself as an expert on something and tell others that they don't understand when you are obviously the person who doesn't get it.
But what? Okay, I hear you. But what wasn't? And what was it? Just so we can move on. I can shut up. What was it where I said I had? What was the point that I had said that you guys don't understand? That's the part I want to know.
You just said we're not capable of having an intelligent conversation with you. So I don't know, what does that mean to you?
No, I was saying, well, first of all, I'm not putting anyone down. Someone said something about BRICS starting in Saudi Arabia, and I asked what the intention was. And I was like, well, Saudi Arabia, to be
If I tell you that we're unable of having an intelligent conversation with you, that's not putting you down.
Okay, well, I apologize for saying that. I was talking about the person who was saying something about Saudi Arabia and saying that people have a
It just so happens that you were talking to the person on the stage who probably understands more than the rest of us. That's the irony in this. She understands more than most of us on the stage do about what we're talking about.
That's probably true. I wasn't talking to her.
No, there's no probably. There's no probably. She does. So that's what I'm saying. It would behoove you to listen. She was trying to share with you, but you then insulted her, whether you admit that or not. You insulted everyone.
I will admit that I insulted the individual that talked about Saudi Arabia. That's what I was talking about. I probably cut her off when she was talking about it. I don't understand, but whoever was speaking, I don't see her name here. I definitely apologize because I'm here to actually just communicate, collaborate, and to listen and learn. So we can all do that with each other. That's my philosophy, and that's who I am. So I'm not going to back down and just, but anyways, that's what I wanted to point out.
Go ahead, Nathan. Talk about it.
All right, so what I was saying, is this, right? So BRICS was started, and through that influence, Saudi Arabia dropped the petrodollar, right? And there was a president, I forgot who he was, probably decades ago, and he stated how important, I'll just read it up on it, watching documentaries, whatever, right? But he was saying how important the petrodollar was to the United States. And somebody more, can explain it better than I can, how important that is for the United States. And actually, since I follow the dollar almost every other 2 days, it is getting weaker because I do travel to Mexico, United States a lot. So I think it was like at $20, around 20 or 19. It's like 18 right now. I checked yesterday. I was like, what the fuck? It is driving. I mean, who knows? But yeah, that's all I was saying about it. That I do think that any type of challenger is going to, no matter who the president is, right? When you have an organization like BRICS, it's going to get the attention of the United States, regardless of whoever president, and they're going to see it as a threat. And if you try to affect the value of the American dollar, right, they will see it as an extreme threat. We've seen countries like Argentina, Venezuela, those type of countries like that, their dollar dropped in value, right? And it pretty much that can pretty much kill a country. So yeah, I mean, I think that Trump did talk about it before he was elected and addressed BRICS specifically. And I think that he said he's going to eliminate it and stop it before he would. I mean, this was like 8 months before the election.
I have a question, Nathan. Who told you that Saudi Arabia dropped the petrodollar? Was that you?
I think it was reported a few years ago. Now that they follow the route of it.
Why they still price oil in USD?
Well, it was in the news that they was going to drop it. Now, what percentage of it, and they're going to drop it completely? I didn't check up on it recently. That was about the last time I heard about it was when it was reported.
Yeah, they haven't dropped it.
But do you see that it was going to drop?
Do you see on TV when they talk about how many U.S. dollars per barrel?
Let me look it up.
There's been fake news about it, Patty, but you know, we don't. Who knows the difference between fake and
Yeah, I think maybe they, like, countries will say things like, oh, I'm going to do something, and they don't follow through.
And they don't. And they don't. All these countries older than the U.S. supposed to be more savvy, but who still has the world currency? Who still holds it?
Alright, I have a question if you guys allow me.
Okay, go ahead. I wasn't talking.
Oh no, I didn't mean
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, I was just like, so what does that mean in the? Because I'm curious. For the U.S., what does that mean if another country is saying that we're dropping? What is that? What is it? Lowering the prices on the oils or something.
I mean, when you process that slowly, now you said BRICS, and it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, right? And they got the whole South America is in there. You got four nations and a whole continent. Y'all processing that? 4 nations and a whole continent. And then Donald Trump, we're going to break up something. Hey, you don't have no influence to like that. See what it is, they get, when people get power, when they get bombs and guns in their hands, I noticed the white boys on the playground, and you get somebody pissed, they would behave differently when they had guns. When they had a big mob with them, they would behave a little different. They would flex when they had the boys with them. And then humble themselves when they were outnumbered, or if it was a fair fight now, just a fair fight. Just think about that. You got Brazil, Russia, countries, right? India, China. Think about that. And then whole South America.
Okay, she asked a question and it ain't had nothing to do with BRICS. It had 100% to do with what would happen if you said something about what would happen if Saudi Arabia dropped the petrodollar, right?
Yeah, I guess the countries that you guys were talking about, like you asked, you just said like, I think they just dropped the prices on oil. So I was like, okay, what does that mean in relationship to the U.S.? Like, how does that affect the two countries?
Basically, the quality of oil is when you deal with Iran and Saudi Arabia, it has a quality of petroleum. The main line goes from Iran to China, and Saudi Arabia has
Let's
a lot
talk about
of
the global market. It's going to affect the global market. We can just talk about price at this moment, brother.
I think you know, but at this point I won't be long, but I will be strong. Now, Saudi Arabian oil is the thing that there's a lot of confidence because of the politics of Saudi Arabia and the quality of the petroleum oil that comes out of the ground. That's what makes them rich and flex and the Arabs and etc. But on that strength, America uses that oil to keep a certain balance in the trade market, etc. When the price per barrel is what the controversy has been about for years, all of my adult life. So to trade with them, to have any form of embargo or something to affect that oil will affect your price at the grocery counter. It will affect your price at the gas and diesel pump. Those are the things that what they're squabbling over most of the time. So to keep them as a partner, in other words, that there were certain political moves that were made between Saudi and America, and then the execution of the journalist that time. And again, Donald Trump was in office for that one. So anything that we do or they do towards each other is going to affect the market. What you're spending per gallon and what you're spending for milk, eggs, the very basic the staple food market in your house. So that market will be affected by the political relationship between America and Saudi Arabia. And I'll let my plan on the facts as you know them to be.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah.
Astro on mute.
It won't take long. Specifically, if that's the name that, the relation largely comes down to the cost of producing oil in the United States. If it is reduced to such a degree to where it becomes unsustainable to produce oil in the United States, that causes a problem with domestic production of oil in the United States. Right, so, which is a strategic commodity for the United States. Other countries that have a larger portion of the oil market can do that. I'm not going to say unilaterally, but without the United States. And so, and they have done this at different times to make it less sustainable for domestic U.S. production. This was different. The math changed a little bit with the innovation of fracking, which reduced the cost of producing oil in the U.S. From $60 to about $40. I don't know. It's not more. Anyway, but the point is, it reduced it quite significantly by almost about a third.
That wasn't her question.
And so,
Dark, I'm going to repeat her question. She said if Saudi Arabia dropped the petrodollar, like, what would happen? She wants to know what would happen.
Oh, if she dropped the petrodollar?
Right, because
they would lose significant degrees of market access and probably weapons access,
but
which
what would
they
happen
need.
Globally? Like make it make sense, because we were talking about the U.S. dollar, right? And the demand for the U.S. dollar, why there's a demand. But she was saying, and someone else brought up, we got rid of the petrodollar, which is not true. They're still trading oil in USD. So the thing is, she asked, well, how would that affect, like, if they did drop the petrodollar?
They cannot. Here is the problem, though. They cannot drop because the U.S. dollar control the market. Even the Saudis.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, will not try to do that. Then they will lose.
And if they did that, who would they shift over to? China? You know what I'm saying? That would be the only other geopolitical shift they'd be able to go to. They'd have to go to a yuan-based price. And the problem with yuan-based pricing is how fucking China fluctuates their money. So like,
China, if you guys see now China cannot come in this market to try to fight American dollar. They don't have that much. Yeah, they have this, but they will not dominate U.S. dollar.
Can I have some mic 1 minute, please? I need just to explain you something.
After you starting to give him my nerves. Go ahead.
Hey, can I go after him?
Go ahead after Michi. Go Michi, because I don't think Americans talk.
Okay. Yeah, so my take on it is basically what would happen globally, like just the global economy. First of all, the demand for U.S. dollars would go down. The only reason why there are, a lot of countries requiring U.S. dollars is because of the fact that, global energy commodities are, priced in U.S. dollars. That's not the only reason, but just for this, because there are a whole lot of financial transactions that are denominated in U.S. dollars that have nothing to do with, petroleum products. But for the sake of this, if that's no longer the case, then the demand of the U.S. dollars will reduce. We know that, in economics, whenever the demand for something reduces, then the price of that thing will also reduce. So if these multinationals and governments no longer need as many dollars as they used to in order to settle transactions in like global trade, then they wouldn't keep as many dollars in their treasury. Countries would reduce their holdings of dollar foreign reserves, which would then reduce again, not just the price of the dollar, but countries' dependence on the dollar and the U.S.'s influence in those countries. The most that, and I agree that I really think that's unlikely. So I agree with Patty, and I think it was somebody else, I think it was American, that said that it's not going to happen. As Patty said, there's still quoting oil barrels in terms of dollars. I don't think that that's going to stop. The most that they can do is
what BRICS is trying to do with any other commodity. So in that case, oil is not necessarily special. So for the BRICS members, what they're trying to say is, hey, when we are trading amongst each other, then let's use our own currency. When we're, when a BRICS country is trading directly with the BRICS country, they're trying to eliminate that trade being done in dollars. So if Saudi Arabia is selling China oil, then they're proposing, okay, let's quote those barrels of oil in yuan when we're selling to China. Let's quote it in rubles when we're selling to, Russia, something like that. I hope that answers your question.
Normal, let's do a Tanya reading room and show Sam how much of the clown is.
Thanks. The other thing is this: BRICS is not something to be worried about. If folks actually read the BRICS treaty, there is nothing in there that actually enhances the countries that belong to the alliance at all. Nathan, who thinks otherwise, is incapable of finding me where in the treaty it actually enhances the nations within the alliance itself. If you actually look at the language of the alliance itself, there is nothing that actually creates a shared trade bloc, for example, such as the EU. There is nothing that establishes a shared defensive framework or paradigm between these countries. Essentially, all of the deals that happen within these BRICS nations is bilateral. By that I mean between only one country and one other country. Right? Nathan likes to suggest China, indeed. Now, the only reason why someone would suggest that China would command the BRICS is if they have zero understanding of India's actual relationship with China as it is on the ground. Chinese animus within India is still alive, has been alive. I've seen this personally with my own government meetings, but you don't even have to do that. You just have to look, for example, at the Eastern Ladakh region, where you have Indian and Chinese soldiers literally coming to fisticuffs. Right? They're building competing dams on the same river. Why would these actions happen amongst two countries which are ostensibly allies? Why would India enter into, for example, the Quad defensive framework, which directly challenged China's claim to sovereignty in the Pacific Ocean, while India doesn't have any sort of defensive framework or shared paradigm with China at all, and never has? If you further look at the BRICS, basically one half of the BRICS has a significant geopolitical difference with the other half of the BRICS, right? Are we going to see Iran and Saudi Arabia agree on a shared currency? Are we going to see Turkey and Greece agree on a shared currency? Are we going to see, I already said India and China. I mean, like, are we going to see Egypt and Ethiopia agree on a shared currency? If you think that they will, I would recommend looking up the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and how they've gone through about 12 years of failed negotiations on equitable uses of the Nile. The BRICS is nothing but a surface level hedge, and if you actually look at the treaty itself, is vaporware.
Yeah, but they are trying to come up with their own digital currency. China is the project
every other year. Like, it's never gonna happen.
Dude, so okay, go ahead. You got it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, they claim that they're coming out with a currency every one and a half.
But China is currently working on Project Enbridge, right? Have you heard about that?
Again,
right now they're testing it. I mean, regardless of the fact, they're testing it right now. Like UAE, Saudi Arabia, and China, they're doing a cross-border digital currency, so they're doing their settlements.
No. Can I inject? UAE will not. UAE is the part of. They have an agreement with U.S. Turkey is part of a line of NATO, and the part of U.S. So it will be so difficult. I will just say this. I think maybe after some time of generation to come, I don't know what we're talking right now, 20 years or 30 years we're talking about, that China will be able to push through.
No, you may not. You may not. No.
Russia will push through.
When it comes to the Israelites and Edomites, all these people are ancient peoples. And they are intermarried. It was thousands of years ago.
The Edomites and the Israelites
They will come to try to say that they want to go against U.S. dollar or U.S. power in the region.
Look at it.
That anyone that think about
Let
that,
someone else
then
talk, you fucking coward. What the fuck is wrong with
totally
you?
100%
Let someone make a fucking point, you fucking absolute coward. You're fucking trying to talk over someone like that. We are fucking afraid of what they're fucking saying.
And Saudi and UAE, even their richness, if they came through U.S. dollar, there can be no way at any point, at any time. If we're talking 100 years from now, I can buy with you guys. But we're talking about 20, 30, please. That don't make no sense.
Gaddafi tried, and Saddam Hussein tried. Everybody tried to overthrow the dollar. It's not going to happen.
And what happened to them? They got killed. So here is the point. They cannot try. Saudi cannot. Saudi, the U.S. is sitting right. The U.S. is protecting Saudi. UAE is being protected by the U.S. Turkey is also being protected by the U.S. Where are we going?
The fucking 100 people talking over
so U.S. dollar always, and okay, let's just say for example, if let's go to auction, right? If whoever bid more money, U.S. dollar bid more than the rest of these countries, right? U.S. dollar is very secure. U.S. dollar have a power behind it. Nothing cannot. So unless you got that, are we talking about 50 years from now? Okay. But after that, then maybe Turkey, if Turkey want to go to China or go to Russia, I don't know, Turkey, there's no way that Turkey will leave NATO. There's no way UAE will try to go anywhere. What other countries? Saudi, what is that? Saudi Arabia, there's no way. They could reach out, even their oil. U.S. have more oil actually, if you guys seen that, but U.S. don't want to use their oil because they're bidding outside. So that point that these people are going, or the world order will be changed at any time soon, is not changing.
I think, real quick, Doug, I think we should just be cautious before we say, something is never going to happen or something is impossible. I do think that it's probably more reasonable to say that just like, geopolitically, we're moving to an era where there's not going to be just one undisputed superpower. We're going to have kind of like multipolarity where we have heavyweights, one heavyweight in each region. That might be the way that it is going to be with the dollar as well. Again, I don't see the dollar just disappearing as the world's reserve currency because there are a lot of transactions that go between two countries that have nothing to do with BRICS, and there has to be a third-party currency that both of those counterparts in those transactions, are comfortable dealing with. I think there are a whole lot of geopolitical issues, as I don't know who was speaking for. I think it was Dark that was saying that that would be a challenge to BRICS. We can just acknowledge that the enemy of your enemy isn't always your friend. All of these people are coalescing just on the premise that they don't like the U.S. That doesn't necessarily mean that they do like one another. And like those border skirmishes that he was talking about, even just the quest for dominance in Asia. India is growing, economy. They're not trying to step aside and just default to China. Russia, they have their own pride, their own ego. Putin is just really kind of leaning on China now because he needs to, because, he's in a war that is not popular. He has a whole lot of heavyweights that are opposing him. That doesn't necessarily mean that, he's fine, with China being the big dog on campus, in BRICS as it is. If they drop the currency, they're still going to be a dominant force. We know that China is going to be expected to be that dominant force, financially, as far as how the currency, will go. I'm not sure everybody wants to, cede their sovereignty, so to speak, to to China, with these issues. So there are internal challenges. I won't say that something is impossible. The BRICS bloc can definitely challenge the U.S. dollar. Will they be able to eliminate the U.S. dollar? I don't think so. Another thing that people have to think about, like I was mentioning earlier, are like financial transactions that have nothing to do with commodities or anything else. Then also, people sometimes simplify the value of the U.S. dollar by saying, "Oh, it's our military. It's because we have 100 and however many bases in these countries, and we're pretty much forcing them." It's not as simple as just kind of boiling it down to neo-imperialism. When people are choosing the currencies that they maintain their foreign reserves in, they're looking at how stable those countries are. They're looking at the rule of law in those countries. They're looking at the property rights laws and stuff that are enforced. The general transparency that they perceive those respective governments to operate with. That's when they're comfortable. That's when they decide which currencies that they're comfortable, keeping their foreign reserves in. That's not always the case with China. People can't really tell, what's going to happen with China as far as even internally, how stable their society is, the fact that they manipulate their currency so much and they don't really let it flow freely in the market. These are other factors that people use, in order to determine where their savings are going to lie in. And these are also challenges that I would say are presented against any BRICS currencies' potential of just completely overtaking the dollar.
And BG, you made great points, and let me just say this, right? I'm not saying it was created. You have to understand why a thing was created first to understand what the objective is, whether it is what's on paper. It was created because the high sanctions on Russia, and other nations looked at it like, wait a second, if they could do this, because other nations looked at it as like a local conflict from Ukraine and Russia. That's like, Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union, so they look like, okay, that's a local type of issue. And look how many sanctions were put on them, right? That was the spark of it. Everything is not going to be plain written out on paper. Their objective, that's not even a wise thing to do. But we do know that the number 2 and 3 most powerful country in the world, the United States being one, is Russia and China, right? So, I don't think that it's a new thing, right? And, it's hard to predict what the future is going to be. But to say, like, I think it's a little bit of ego, saying, oh, this can never happen. Well, the biggest dog, and, when you have that type of ego, when you think you're invincible, right? And then one day you fall hit your face, you're going to wonder what happened when the signs were on the ball. Now, that's all I'm saying about it.
Firstly, we need to look at a little bit of history here. The suggestion that BRICS was created as a result of the sanctions in Russia is patently false. BRICS was created in 2006 as an alternative to U.S.-led global order. Major sanctions against Russia didn't happen until 2014. 12 years. No. Sorry, I can't do math. Plus that 8 years.
8 years.
The point is, 8 years. Yeah, that's not my problem.
Like the annexation of Crimea.
Yeah, my wife is the math one in the family here. The point is that BRICS was not created because of sanctions against Russia. That is not true. There is nothing in history that actually supports that. I recommend folks look at the history and also read the BRICS Treaty to understand this a bit better. Amici actually had a lot of great points. Now, I will say this. If there was ever a greater argument for why many countries should abandon the U.S., Trump is doing that work for Russia and China right now far better than either of them could. Upending global trade, reducing confidence in the dollar, creating greater instability here at home, defending pedophiles. Well, maybe that's not one reason. I just felt like I should continue to liken Trump with defending pedophiles here because that's what he's doing. But the point is that Trump is actually making the best argument for why countries should abandon the dollar now. Whether or not they will do that, I would still agree, of course, with Amici that at the moment it's still quite unlikely. But Trump is doing his best, it seems, to actually do that. Again, far better than China or Russia could have ever done, either together or separately. No kind of arguments from the pedophile defenders here. Okay, nice.
I actually want to say something. I agree. I've been reading about it too. Like, and Amici was saying something or I don't know who stepped in. Someone said something that it's actually just used for surface. Like it's not an actual. Like there are deeper things to it. And I don't know if this is going off topic, but this is just my curiosity. But as of now, there's a canal being built. It's called Ben Gurion Canal. That's the Sinaites of. I think it's on the southern part of Egypt, and it's like connected to Israel, and that's where the Suez Canal. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Which is where the import comes from China or from Yemen and towards the U.S., and that's where the channel of like transport and trade routes are. I think that because that's changing. And they're using all these different treaties, but I don't know if someone knows anything of this or if you can just disregard it, but I don't know. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes or no? Tell me yes or no. No. Go ahead, sir.
That is not moderating. Just answer the question.
You people are dumb. How is legalizing recreational marijuana? How is legalizing recreational? Hold on, world. How was legalizing recreational marijuana 5, 6, 7 years ago not progressive? Please explain.